everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cut the Cake, your real talk podcast on all things wedding planning here in Australia. My name is Melanie and I am from Mellyrain Creative, and as always, I am joined by my fabulous co-host, Tanya from Event Wonder Co. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited because we have another Q&A episode. Because we like we've been getting so many questions lately, which is so good. So these Q&A episodes come from our listeners directly. So these questions have been sent by, we're going to keep them anonymous, but we always do. But there's some good ones.
I know.
So we've got a couple we're going to go through. So we're going to dive right into it. First question. This is such a good question. I am newly engaged. None of my friends have been married before. I'm the first, and I have no idea where to start. What would you suggest?
See, now this is the event manager in me.
Okay.
If this was to happen to me, I wasn't in the wedding industry, could obviously I'm very advantage here, I would be reaching out to a wedding planner personally because
You got that because I'm here.
well, one, yes, but two, also I think it's very easy to sit down and go, okay, we're going to plan a wedding, we're going to plan an event. It's just like a birthday party. And I'm in the process of planning someone's birthday party at the moment. I can attest it is not about planning a birthday party. It's very, very different. And I think we have said this through our other podcasts that we've done is, a wedding is a major event. And for me, I would be looking at speaking to an expert first and foremost, even if that conversation goes nowhere. You've said it before, like a lot of wedding planners, and I know you do this, you actually have the ability to have a discovery call with somebody. So actually having that initial conversation with somebody who is doing it complimentary, fussing them out, understanding what it's going to take. For me, that would be your first point of call because it's either going to set you in the course of the right direction, give you a starting point, or it is going to literally kind of go, okay, cool, this is not something that I need somebody to do. I can handle it myself. So for me personally, speaking to a professional who is across every element of the industry, venues, catering, all those key things that you need, for me, that would be the first place to start.
Yeah. And two suggestions. One actually has nothing to do with wedding planning. The first thing I would honestly tell everyone to do is to not tell anyone that you are engaged.
There you go. That is actually really fun. I understand why you've now said that. Yes.
I would say that because as soon as you start telling people that you are engaged, you are going to get influxed with questions.
Yep.
When are you getting married? What's the date? Where are you going? Who's your new wedding party? Show me your ring. Like there's so many questions that come at you and you probably don't have any of the answers. And in my experience through couples and friends who have gone through that process, it's a lot and it's overwhelming and it almost takes you out of that engagement bubble.
Yeah.
So the first thing I say, don't tell anyone, like closest family. Yeah. Fine. But even that, like I would probably be in my little bubble for at least a week. You have to really soak it up with my partner. And then from there, start telling people over the months kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would probably do is it's one of those you don't know what you don't know, particularly if it's your first wedding, if you've ever been married before, if you don't have, like this person has said, anyone in your circle that's been married before. I would be either doing what you suggested, like just talking to some planners to get an idea of what's involved and if that's something that you need help with, even jumping online and looking for like a really simple, like literally Google, like how do I plan my wedding? And there might be like some PDF or downloadable that you can get that can kind of go through all the elements that you need to think about when planning a wedding, even like a timeline. Like if you get like a 12-month wedding planning timeline, it'll give you the basics of what you need to think about and working and planning and stuff like that. So that gives you a really good indication on what you need to consider. And then it starts you at somewhere where you either explore getting a planner involved or if you're comfortable enough to do it yourself, do that.
Yeah.
So I would say they're the first things that I would do.
Happy days. All right. So moving on to the next question, which kind of almost goes hand in hand a little bit. I am struggling to find a venue that allows us to stay later than 11 p.m. And I know you will know a lot about this, but I'm struggling. Do you think it's okay to end the wedding at 11 p.m.?
Short answer, yes. Like right or wrong. No, with this one, yes. Okay. I think I definitely have couples that want to find venues that can go beyond 11 p.m. And if that's what you want to do, like you do you, Vu. But in my experience, you don't really realize how big a wedding day is until your wedding day is there. So the amount of people that I work with that are keen to do something afterwards, and I talk them out of it because it is such a big day. Like particularly for the girls, like depending on how many people in your wedding party, like you could be up at 6 a.m.
Yep.
And then that's
it's a very long day at the end of the day. It's a 15, 16-hour day.
Yeah. And I just personally think it's a big commitment to, like say, even if you had an after party, like say your venue finishes at 11 and then you go somewhere else afterwards, like don't commit to that. Like if you want to have something that's available for your guests to go to after the wedding to kick on, go for it. But put yourself in a position where you can opt in or opt out, because like I can guarantee you by the time you get to 11, your feet are going to be sore. You're going to be sick of smiling. Your face is going to be sore. Like you might be really drunk. Like you just want to go to bed. You might be really tired. So I would say don't stress about the 11. It's a good time to finish.
And I think it's one of those things too. If you do want the party to continue, the Rise as the Recovery brunch, an after event on the following day, is huge at the moment. So yeah, look at that as another option.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I wouldn't stress about finding a venue. And if you do find one, like there are a couple out there, but I wouldn't make that a deal breaker.
No.
For your wedding. Absolutely not. Cool. All right. Next question. What would you say is the sweet spot for a guest list? I feel like this is a good one for you because you obviously work through a lot of invitation side of things. But the question continues. I'm concerned I won't get to spend much time with my guests on the day. So what would you say? I have a number. What's your sweet spot?
I mean, I'd love if it was the same number. Well, for me, it's around the 80 to 90 mark. Yeah, because I think you will find that most venues they'll either be a big venue that will be able to cater for up to 200, or there'll be that more intimate venue that will still be able to do up to 110, 120 potentially. Anything over, you're going to encroach on your dance site. But you want to be comfortable. You want your guests to be comfortable. You don't want everyone to be crammed in as sardines. And having actually just worked through a floor plan with a couple who are looking at around 80, it's how we moved the tables, move the chairs to do their seating chart and everything. Like they're really, really happy with actually landing on the number that they've got. And yes, there are people who were originally on the guest list that can't make it. They're international, not the end of the world. But they're like, everyone's got room to move. Like, and we've got time to stand with everybody. Well, yeah, that would be my sweet spot number.
That's my sweet spot too. I think anything more than 100, really, the amount of couples that don't get to talk to everyone, or they feel that pressure to have to talk to everyone on the day, and then they don't really take it all in and get to the next day and go, oh, I'd like to talk to Uncle Jim or whatever. I would keep it around anywhere between 80 and 100.
Yep, perfect. That was nothing easy. All right, so on to the last one. This will be a really quick episode. Why are so many wedding planners doing styled shoots at the moment? Are they realistic in showing wedding styles and costs?
This is such a great question because I feel like it's a question not only from couples, but from wedding vendors as well. Okay, I'll try not to talk too long on this one. So there's a few reasons why planners and stylists do styled shoots. One is and this is, I should say, for why I do them, because I do at least one a year, maybe a couple of more depending on what's going on and workload and everything like that. But I do them to showcase styles.
Yep.
So I find working with couples, and a lot of couples work with me from a styling, designing perspective because they're not very creative and they're not great at visualizing how things can work together and how to incorporate different bits and pieces together to create a design for a wedding. So by doing a styled shoot, it gives me the ability to visually show people what can be created in certain ways.
100%.
So that's a reason I do it. Another reason is to show up and coming styles. So you can see things like from, planners and everyone, particularly in Australia, we look a lot at Europe.
Yep.
So their European summer is our winter, and then we go into our wedding season. So by looking at what is happening in Europe over their winter, is usually what comes through in Australia. So by looking at that and then doing some styled shoots to sort of show how that can be almost replicated or designed in a way that suits the Australian wedding format, yep, that is a big reason that we do it. I think in terms of cost, that is such a personal question in terms of like what you want to spend on your 100%. I think when I do styled shoots, they are created probably more like we've spoken about in other episodes around that 100K sort of mark for an overall wedding. From a styling perspective, like most styling budgets that I work with are anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000. So florals, stationery, decor, furniture, linen, all those bits and bobs. So if you're looking, I guess, at a styled shoot that I've done, sort of have that in my part of it. They're the reasons that I do it. And another big reason planners do styled shoots is to also like work with new vendors or to collaborate with vendors that they're really keen to work with or they like working with or whatever. So it also gives like couples that free intel as to particularly for me, the vendors that I really like working with and who I would probably recommend to couples anyway to work with. So there's a few reasons. I think there's also to be fully transparent too. Like I know you and I have obviously worked together on styled shoots. There's an element of creative freedom, totally, because obviously it's your vision and then you working with what I'm thinking in terms of like, you know, what's trending. It's like we've almost, it's a little bit more freer in terms of I've got free reign about what I can create. Obviously, in your color palette that you're looking for. So there's all those different elements where there is a huge level of creative freedom that we can actually, you know, bring across and have that wrapped in the final like with one photo. I did a style shoot a couple of months ago now, and the color palette was really focused around like chocolate browns, and we did this. Yes, yeah, we did. Yeah. And I did that because I could see like this mocha chocolate tone coming through in the season. And I was talking about it with some couples that we couldn't really find something that really replicated what I was trying to explain to them. So now that they've seen it, they're like, oh, I really like that color palette and I really want those brown chairs and that brown napkin and it just all ties in together. I'm like, I know, this is why we've done this to show you that. And I think that's kind of the key thing for us too is like, when you came to me with that palette, it was just at that stage when we were starting to introduce the new chocolates through in terms of the card stock that we'll work with and the printing. So it's not just something that's, you know, it's not just the stylists that are seeing, it's actually vendors as a whole. We're training it across the board in terms of the printers we're working with and all that type of thing. So, yeah, it's always fun to just have that little bit of creative freedom that we don't necessarily have sometimes. Well, we're going to leave it at that. Yay, we're going to finish on. Well, we just wanted to get like we said, we've had so many questions come through. So we thought, let's do a little one with a few of the questions so we can get through them because we definitely want to get back to all the questions that do come through. So thank you to everyone who has sent questions so far. And if you do have another question or if something in this episode or any of our other episodes have prompted a question, then please reach out with us. You can find us on Instagram at Cut the Cake Podcast. You can either send us a question there or you can find Tanya at Event Wanderer Co or find me at Mellyrain Creative. So just get in touch, send us your questions. We'll jump them on here and go through them one by one and tell you guys our thoughts and feelings and opinions and honest truths, which is what we're good at. Yeah, very good. So until next time, we will see you then. See you then. Bye.